The quarantine dome of Station Rio 7 was silent except for the low hum of containment fields. Inside, 42 alien children lay on narrow cots, some shivering, some unconscious, all wrapped in isolation sheets that were never meant to comfort. They were called many names across the galaxy, the plague orphans. The untouchables, the doomed. To Dr. Mara Elyon. They were simply children. She stepped through the sterilization gate as the alarms blinked a warning. The station staff watched from behind reinforced glass, unwilling to enter, unwilling even to breathe the same recycled air. The Ryerson plague had no cure, not for their species, nor for most others. Infection was slow, painful, and absolutely terminal. And the orphans had been abandoned to die. Mara adjusted her medkit, feeling every pair of frightened eyes track her movements. She knelt beside the smallest child, a cobalt-skinned girl with translucent eyelids and trembling limbs. Her name tag read Sisha, written in hurried script by the workers who refused to go near her. "Mara!" crackled the intercom. It was Chief Medical Officer Wren, voice tight with fear. "Do not make physical contact. Even the shielded gloves aren't rated for—" "I'm not here to watch them die," Mara said. Her voice was soft, but it carried something that silenced the entire observation deck. She removed her gloves. Gasps erupted behind the glass. Someone cursed. Wren shouted her name again, but she was already slipping her fingers under the child's cheek, feeling the heat of fever-real, unshielded skin touching skin. "It's okay, sweetheart," Mara whispered. "You're not alone anymore." Sisha's eyes fluttered open. Her pupils shimmered in confusion and disbelief. No one had touched her in 21 days, and then she started to cry. 3 hours earlier, Mara had arrived on Rio 7 with a duffel bag, a portable lab, and the stubbornness that had once nearly gotten her dismissed from the Terran Medical Corps. Humans had a reputation. In the galaxy, reckless compassion. Biological resilience, a refusal to abandon even strangers. Some called it admirable. Some called it dangerous. To Mara, it was non-negotiable. She scanned the children, taking samples and recording vitals. Every organism showed the same pattern: a rapidly mutating spore-borne pathogen, lethal, adaptive. But as she moved from cot to cot, she noticed something. Something the Ryerson doctors had missed. Because they hadn't bothered to touch their patients, the spores clung to surfaces but degraded when exposed to certain oils that occurred naturally on human skin. It wasn't a cure, but it was a start. Night fell over the dome, though the lights never dimmed. The orphans grew restless, some crying, some calling for parents who would never come. Mara moved among them, administering fluids, adjusting thermal wraps, whispering stories of Earth's forests and oceans. She let them hold her sleeve, cling to her arm, sob into her shoulder. For the first time in weeks, they were being treated like living beings, not quarantine statistics. At dawn, she checked Sisha again. The girl's fever had dropped. Not dramatically, but enough that the monitors noticed. "Impossible," Wren said, staring at the numbers from behind the glass. Mara ignored him and lifted Sisha's small, trembling face. "You're strong," she murmured. "Keep fighting, little one." And she pressed her lips to the child's forehead, a soft, human gesture older than starships or medicine. Cameras zoomed in. Everyone watching recoiled. "Mara, that level of exposure is necessary," she said simply. By mid-morning, the children shifted in their beds. Their breathing steadied. Their skin, once mottled with gray patches, began to regain color. The spores were weakening, dying. Wren ran into the dome at last, despite 2 guards trying to stop him. He scanned Sisha frantically. The readings stared back at him with undeniable clarity. "Her viral load is decreasing," he whispered. How did you do this?" Mara wiped sweat from her brow. "Human dermal oils break down their spore capsules. I can synthesize a topical version, but the children need contact warmth, reassurance. Their immune systems react better when they don't feel afraid." Wren blinked at her. "Are you telling me medical progress on my station depends on hugs?" Mara gave a tired smile. "More or less." Word spread quickly through Rio 7, first among the guards, then the medics. Then the dock workers who whispered that a human doctor had done what entire species could not: walk into the plague dome and come out alive. The orphans, once shunned, now had visitors peering through the windows, not out of fear, but wondered. Still, no one else dared enter, except Mara. For the next 48 hours, she barely slept. She moved like a ghost among the sickbeds, washing foreheads, administering treatments, whispering lullabies she barely remembered learning. Each time a child's fever broke, hope flickered brighter. The plague was still lethal, still terrifying. But now it was no longer invincible. By the end of the third day, 34 of the 42 children were declared stable. The Galactic Council summoned Mara for testimony. The chamber was vast, filled with towering representatives from 26 species. Some looked at her with awe, others with suspicion. "You entered the plague dome without protection," said Counselor Viren. "Why?" Mara met his gaze without flinching. "Because they are children. Because they were alone. Because no one else would." "And this human immunity," another counselor murmured. "Is it intentional?" "Just fortunate biology," Mara replied. "But compassion is intentional." There was a stir in the chamber. Many species had seen war, alliances, conflict, but few understood humans until moments like this. "When the spores break down," Mara continued, "the children's bodies can fight back. I've synthesized a safe, replicable enzyme based on human skin chemistry. Any species can manufacture it. So the plague can be cured?" Viren pressed, voice trembling with hope. "It can be fought," she said. "And that's enough." When she returned to Raya 7, the dome was bright with chatter. Children were sitting up, laughing weakly, waving when they saw her. Sisha ran to her and wrapped tiny arms around her waist. "You came back," Sisha whispered. "I always will," Mara said. Hugging her close, outside the dome, dozens of station workers stood waiting. Not to watch her, not to judge her, but to follow her inside. Some carried blankets. Some carried toys donated from their own quarters. Some simply carried a willingness they hadn't possessed before. Ren looked at Mara with respect he hadn't shown anyone in years. "You showed us what being a doctor actually means," he said. Mara shook her head. "I just showed you what being human means." That night, as she kissed each child's forehead before they slept, an old Earth gesture of comfort that needed no translation, the galaxy quietly rewrote its opinion of humanity: not warriors, not conquerors, not reckless explorers, but the species who walked into plague storms unarmored, because someone small and scared needed them. And for the first time in their short, abandoned lives, the plague orphans of Ryo 7 dreamed of tomorrow.